What is going on, you guys? This is Tech HD coming at you with a brand new unboxing video, and today what we're going to be taking a look at is another action camera. So this is from SJCAM, and this is the SJ8 Pro. This is their brand new action camera, and if you guys may have remembered, if you guys have been with me for a while, I made a review video about the SJ6 Legend, and it was a great action camera. I took it to Colombia with me when I went on vacation. I showed you guys a lot of test footage, and it was really great for the price. Now they came out with the SJ8 Pro, and this one does 4K at 60 frames per second, and this one's supposed to be competing against the GoPro Hero 6. But then again, there's that price point. So the GoPro Hero 6 goes for $399, whereas this one goes for $290, so about $100 difference. But this one, from spec wise, from what I'm seeing, is this one does really good. So 4K at 60 frames per second, as well as I believe 120 frames per second at 1080p, and this has an OLED display on the front, as well as an IPS touchscreen display on the back, multiple settings. So this one really has all the possibilities. A wide angle display, I think about 170 degrees degree angle, which is really cool. So you can capture everything in the field of view, which is really nice. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be unboxing this. We're going to be taking a look at this. I'll have a link down in the description below to the SJ6 Legend, so that you guys can have a good understanding of the footage and all that. And then I'll have a link down in the description below of this camera, of this action camera right here. And we're going to be unboxing this. We're going to see how to mess around with this, and then we're going to be doing some test footage and see if this really is worth it or not. Alright, you guys, so as you can see right here, we got the SJ8 Pro. This is the top of the line. They also have two other ones. They have the SJ8 Air, and I think they have just the regular SJ8. This one is the top of the line one. This is the one that goes for $290. It supports 4K at 60 frames per second. It has a H22 Amber processor, 12 megapixels of a Sony, as well as image stabilization. It's not optical, but it's electronic, so the second best option. We also have the H.264 as well as H.265 coding encoder, as well. It uses a USB Type-C connection, which is really cool. So really up to date, pretty much all the specs that we would want in the most top of the line action camera, as well as a 2.3-inch touchscreen IPS, and I saw on their website that it was an Ultra HD, which is really cool. And then you can see that we have the stuff that's included. So we got the waterproof case, as well as a couple of mounts for multiple stuff. So if you want to use it on a bike, if you want to mount it on a helmet, if you want to use the touchscreen option while you're in the water, which is really cool. And then we could see a little bit more of the specs over here, and how much of the micro SD that it could support up to. And it says 128. It uses an MP4 video encoder, as well as a JPEG image. Really nice. So let's just get right into it. Also want to let you guys know that there is a app for it on both Android and iOS, so that you guys could easily download the footage, the videos, as well as the picture, which is really cool. Like I said, it has Wi-Fi. So let's just get right into this. Lift that piece up, and then if we were to put this down, all right, so we'll move this over to the side. So let's get into this box first. Let's see what we comes with. A couple little accessories, a little bit of the mounts. What's this piece? This one seems to be a little protective gel for the lens. And let's see, we got the USB Type-C to regular USB cable to charge it, and that seems about it. Let's go into this one. Okay, let's see. It says we got a thank you card over here. Dear customer, thank you for choosing SJCAM. All of this. If you have any issues, contact them. Put that over to the side. Oh, we got a nice little carrying pouch. Really cool. Oh, this one's nice. Perfect for portability. Really nice. I like how they provide you with that. Move that over to the side. We got a couple other mounts. Got the bike mount as well. More mounts. Oh, all of these are pretty much mounts. A lot more mounts. It's just constantly giving us all these accessories. So we got the waterproof touchscreen back door, and this one could go up to 10 feet of water, whereas if you were just to use the other one, I think it goes up to 30, maybe more. We got a little cloth to clean the lens if anything. and then we got some SJCAM stickers, and we got the user manual over here, and the stickers are right here as well. And then if we were to pretty much lift this, we would get the actual camera itself. So let's throw this over to the side. Let's move all of this, and let's see what this is. Very nice. The SJ8, it's in its nice waterproof case. If we were to just peel this, very cool. What about the lens? Nice. And it seems like we got everything. So it already has the waterproof case, and if I were to just open this, if I remember correctly, it's like that way. This piece goes up because it's all in the suction. Just throw this down. Oh wow, this thing is really airtight. Okay, so we got the SJ8 Pro right here, and then you can see that we got a nice small little OLED display right here, as well as the lens, and then we got the touchscreen, and it looks like that we just have the button. I also want to let you guys know that it also comes with a 1200 milliamp hour battery, so perfect. It's definitely an upgrade from the SJ6, and perfect for whatever you're going to be needing it for, definitely for that 4K content. And then if we go over here, looks like that we got the USB Type-C connection over here. Put that down, and they also said that it has a stereo microphone, so really good with the audio quality. Got the power button, and that is pretty much it. I'm trying to see where I would install. Oh, the micro SD slot is right there. It's really tiny, but that's where it would be. Alright you guys, so we got the SJ8 Pro over here, and I just want to show you guys a little bit closer up on how everything looks over here, and I also want to show you guys a little bit of a comparison as well. So we got the SJ6 Legend over here, and they look pretty much the same. They got the OLED screen in the front. You can see the camera itself. The main difference is the back. So you can see that the SJ6 has more of a bezel, more of a thicker bezel over here on the sides and on the bottom, whereas the 8 is a lot more thinner, so you have more screen to work with. You can see a lot larger, and of course when we look at the ports, you can see that the SJ6 Legend has a mini or micro HDMI, as well as a USB and the micro SD card slot. And then on the other side we got the on and off button, as well as the settings, and then we got the recording button over here, and that is pretty much it. Whereas the SJ8, all we have pretty much is a USB Type-C, because the USB Type-C can do anything. It could transfer files, it could charge it, it could also connect it to like a TV or another screen pretty much. So the USB Type-C is so amazing that you just need one little port and it does it all pretty much. We can also see that we got the power button over here, as well as the recording button, and you can see that there's no color indicator over here, unlike the SJ6, but that's because these light up, which is really dope. So let's turn this on. If we were to power this, you can see it makes that little jingle, and you can see the recording button turns blue and the power button is red, and the micro SD card slot is in the bottom. It's like hidden right there. You can see that right there, which is really nice. And of course the battery is a lot larger on the SJ8. So now looking at the interface, you can see that there's a lot more screen than the SJ6, for example. So we can see on the bottom left, you could view your old videos as well as your pictures. It's a touchscreen, which is really nice. You can see the type of resolution that you're using right now, and the scrolling and everything is really nice. So now if we go to the top, you've got 4K, and we could do 60 frames as well as 50 frames, but I'm gonna keep it at 60. Got 4K Ultra, which is interesting. You can do it at 30 or 24, which is also really cool. And so if you want to do some like nice motion style, you want to put that to 24, so it could be the most realistic. We could also downgrade to 2.7K 1440p at 60 frames, as well as 60 frames on the 2.7K 1080p at 120 frames per second, so get a little bit more of the slow motion shot. We could also do 1080p Ultra, which is, I don't know the difference between the Ultra and the regular, but the maximum on this one is 60 frames per second, and it could go to 30 as well. And then we could also do 720p up to 240 FPS, so you could get that super slow motion shots, which is pretty crazy. So really the possibility of this camera, of this action camera, is endless, especially with the settings that you have over here. In the middle we got the video, as well as video time lapse, slow recording, photos, photo lapse, burst mode. We also got car mode and a video and photo, which is really cool. We're gonna leave it at video, and then we could really go in depth with it. So we could mess with the EV, we could mess with the white balance, the color of the you want it to be SJCAM, or do you want it to just be a flat color? I'm gonna leave it at SJCAM, which is alright. In the metering mode, we could go to center or spot, as well as the gyro sensor that's automatically on. The encoding, we could set it to H.264 or H.265, and you can see that the H.265 can get better picture quality with lower stream, but it does not support 4K at 60 frames or 50 frames, or 1080p at 120 or 720p at 240. So pretty much the maximum resolution. So if you want to do H.265, you have to downgrade it to 4K at 30 frames, which most people are okay with, so that's not a problem at all. Volume, you could set to 10 or lower. Sharpness, you can have that to soft, normal, or strong. The sharpness, I'm gonna leave it to normal. Distortion correction, that's automatically on. Doesn't support 4K at 60 frames, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, but that's alright. We also got the loop recording, we got the file size, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, so on and so on. I'm gonna leave it at 15, which is fine. We got the video quality, which is fine or normal. I'm leaving it at fine. The ISO, I would like to have the ISO to the lowest, so that there's not so much of pretty much grainy look in the video. So you try to keep it as the lowest ISO as possible, so it can look in the much better quality. As well as audio, you can have it on or off, and a timestamp as well. I like to have that off as well, and so that's really cool. And then when we get into the settings, let me just show you guys the zoom feature. So you got zoom in, zoom out, all of that. But then if we go to the settings, that's where we could go pretty good in depth with it. So we got the language, English, of course, Wi-Fi, so you're able to connect to your phone through the Wi-Fi that SJCAM provides you, the SSID and the password, and then with that you could control it easily on your phone, which is pretty dope. You could use the Wi-Fi frequency of 2.4 or 5 gigahertz band, which is really nice that they provide both, so it's a dual band. You can format the micro SD card slot. You can have an auto power off of 3 minutes, or off, or 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. I'm gonna leave it at 3 minutes, that's fine. We have a screensaver of 30 seconds, which is really cool. So you know, conserving battery life is key here. We got the front display on, which it is on, so you can see that it's on the setting mode right now. We got the indicator light on, of course. We got the keypad tone, so this is an accessory. They provide you with a keypad, so you can have it on your wrist and easily control it by pressing record and all that. We can also rotate on and off. The brightness level, you want it to be really bright or a little bit dim to conserve that battery life. The color temperature, you want it to be really you know, a warm color or a cool color. I like to keep it neutral. External microphone, so you could connect even an external microphone using the USB Type-C, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. So you can always connect a lavalier microphone or maybe an omnidirectional microphone to get the surroundings, which is really nice. The date and time. We also got Gimbal Control, so SJCAM do have Gimbal at the moment, but they're planning on making, and they're currently working on an SJ Gimbal 2, which is really cool. But pretty much the gimbal that they have right now supports everything. So let's see, frequency, I like to have it at 60 Hertz because that's the best option. Default settings, ISO info on, as well as the user interface. Do you want it to be SJCAM, which is this nice colorful one, or do you want it to be the classic, which is like this? I personally like the SJCAM. It just looks a lot newer, a lot more modern. And if I'm able to select this, there we go. And then the version, so the version that I am running right now is version 1.2.2, and the day and the firmware and all that and the model, which is really nice. So that is pretty much it. Getting more in depth with it, this is pretty much in all of everything that you would need in an action camera, and for the price of it is pretty insane. So one thing that I want to show you guys is that when you go from 4K at 60 frames per second to like 4K at 30 or something like that, let's see, it tends to zoom in more. So you can see, I don't know if you guys saw that, but if I were to scroll it back up to 60, you see that it goes blank, and then it creates more of a wider angle when it's at 60 frames per second, unlike when I bring it to 30 or 24. It gets a little bit more zoomed in, like a little bit more narrow, which is pretty interesting that they have that, but you know, that's not a big deal at all. I just wanted to point that out for you guys. So depending on what type of resolution that you guys are on, it'll zoom in a little bit more. It most likely will zoom in more at 1080, at 2K, 4K, 30 frames per second, as you guys saw there, and definitely at 720p. So now that you guys saw a little bit of a closer look of all the stuff that the SJ8 provides you with, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of some time lapse of some shots that I created while I was driving in my truck. And this is just a little bit preview. I'm going to be going more in depth with more videos, more footage, and all that underwater stuff later on when I create my review video on this. But just for the meantime, I'm going to be showing you guys just a little bit of how it looks like when I'm driving and I have it mounted on my car, which is going to be pretty cool.